I love action RPGs, and so when I first came across Path of Exile before, my PC unfortunately just would not cut it. But now with Path of Exile 2 and a brand new PC, I can finally jump in, and so I'm gonna go over what it's really like being a new player to Path of Exile 2. So that being said, let's get started. Upon jumping into Path of Exile 2, I was already under the impression that things weren't going to be simple, that there was going to be somewhat of a learning curve, but I was definitely surprised when I opened up the passive skill screen and the skill gems and realized just how much depth and complexity is in the game, and that definitely confused me initially. It was certainly a path of confusion because I had to learn so many different elements and how things connected, and building a character is obviously very fun, but at the same time, there is a lot of depth to it. But that depth is what motivated me to continue diving deeper, to really figuring out and cementing that perfect unit that I can bring into every single game and erase every single enemy in front of me. So I eventually came across a sorceress after all the testing I did with other characters, and sorceress felt best to me. I just felt like her AoE and the ability to just conjure up spells, and it really gave me that feeling of playing Storm, from X-Men, just controlling all the elements, and that was really fun to me. So initially, I came in with the notion that things were going to be a bit difficult, but then over time, as I tested and I failed and I died considerably, the game humbled me. It vindicated me, but that was satisfying because it gave me more interest, it gave me more excitement, it gave me more curiosity to want to learn more. And now I'm 20 plus hours into the game, I can't stop playing, and I just want to continue logging in and testing more and exploring more. And so ultimately, I would say to any new player watching this or anyone who's tuning in, this is a game where you can pretty much do whatever you please, so long as you're willing to fail along the way and use that failure as a stepping stone to create something that's really fine-tuned to your liking. So that being said, let's move on to the second thing. So this journey has been nothing short of amazing thus far. And the more I dive into the game, the more I realize that there's just so much more left on the table. And considering that PoE 2 is still relatively new, I just know that the future for the game is going to really reward players for being more creative as we start to see more characters and items and spells being added. This game to me has me hooked. And so I'm on this path of destruction right now where my confidence is high, and that confidence comes from knowing that I have a power fantasy that I'm in full control of. I have the authority over what I can conjure as far as the elements. As I mentioned earlier, Storm from X-Men is that power fantasy I had in my mind because I'm a huge X-Men fan, and Storm is my favorite character. So being able to play that role of the controller of elements, whether it's a flame orb or lightning storms or conjuring up zombies to just tackle enemies from afar, ice nova, frost bombs, you name it, everything is there at my disposal. And that feeling of being able to just take full authority over everything around me and watching enemies just die due to my power is a feeling that I can't describe, but I'm sure many of you who are watching this know what I'm talking about. It's a power fantasy unlike any other. And I've come from Destiny 2, where that power fantasy is very much there and alive. However, I really do feel like the build crafting just wasn't there enough. compared to what I'm seeing and experiencing now in Path of Exile 2. The build crafting in this game is near limitless. It really just comes down to you and your own creativity and to what limit you place on yourself. And that is an exhilarating and very satisfying feeling. So this chapter right now that I'm on is destruction. I want to just destroy everything in my path. And whether or not I die doesn't matter. It's just that I know I have that full authority and control. And that's perhaps the greatest feeling anybody can really truly feel in any game. So that being said, let's move on to the last point. The current industry that we live in is oversaturated with so much live service, so much pay to play, pay to win formats that a lot of times you feel like you're not really playing the game, but you're playing with your wallet. But with Path of Exile 2, you truly do get that sense that you're playing a game, and the craziest thing about it is that it's free. It's all free to play, and the only thing that you have to pay for are the additional cosmetics. But I see that as a way of saying thanks to Grinding Gear Games for making such a spectacular game and what they have to offer and how much they put in to a game that you don't have to pay for. This just proves that you don't need money. You don't need to have a price tag to make something great. What you need is just to make something great, and people will be willing to pay extra for it later. And Path of Exile 2 right now, for me, it's exhilarating. It brings back those good memories of the 90s when I was playing Diablo 1 and 2 on my old Windows 95 PC, playing Ultima Online. And those were moments where I felt gaming was truly gaming. You know, you would sit at your computer for hours and you would just glue yourself to the screen, experimenting, exploring, and just being this adventurer. And I think that's what Path of Exile 2 offers me now, is it really rejuvenated that sense of the gamer, you know, the true gaming experience. That's something that not a lot of games can do, especially that are free to play. So huge shout outs to Grinding Gear Games for that. And being a new player especially, while it is confusing at first, once you do overcome that hurdle and you learn and apply new things as time passes, you come to realize just how much this game has and how grateful we all should be that this game exists, because it's just, it again, there's a mountain of content to dive into, and this is just the beginning. You know, this game just came out and there's more in store, and so I look forward to what Grinding Gear Games has to provide for us in terms of new skills and abilities. I look forward to building more of my sorceress and making her an absolute threat. And of course, I'll be streaming this live on Twitch and here on YouTube as well. So if you want to catch me playing Path of Exile 2, talk more about the game and the game industry as a whole, and share your thoughts with me on sci-fi and fantasy, then be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, new warriors, stay strong, keep fighting, and may the force be with you all, always. See you next time. Enjoy gaming. Take care. Peace.